Welcome to Pax Europiana here from Bozen in southern Tirol in Italy, a NATO member obviously, so no need to wave the NATO flag. But I want to make very clear that NATO is the answer for all the regional injustices and complicated regional minority issues we have in Europe. And we have so many in Eastern Europe which are unsettled and which need to be regulated. And here in southern Tirol, I am talking about exactly this. Why? Because it's the logic to be united in NATO, in the European Union, and in the Euro, and to have regional autonomy status politically and self-governance economically in a federal system. And that's what's happening. Of course, nothing is really perfect. Even here in southern Tirol, there are many issues. But here, Austria is very much to blame because we have not made the move into NATO. And we should be, because then, of course, there will be no defense alliance border anymore between Austria and Italy. And also our relation in the geostrategic field will be aligned. That's very important. Of course, you know, the case in Austria and Italy is no longer so burning as it is between Serbia and Kosovo, between in Cyprus and in whatever, Moldova, and in Ukraine, obviously, and Armenia, Azerbaijan, and we have several of these issues, and especially in Serbia as well. You know, with my friends in Preševo Valley, and of course in the Sanjak, and there's many areas in Eastern Europe where there are burning issues. I think I mentioned most of them. But the logic is always the same, and I want to reiterate it was very unfair what happened with the peace settlement in 1919. It led to a lot of injustice here against the German speakers in Tyrol, in Italy, and it was deeply unfair to divide Tyrol like this, just to have this Brenner border between Austria and Italy, basically to move the geographical borders Austria, Italy, in that way up north, and basically for military reasons, not for any kind of justice or ethnic or whatever kind of population reason. The idea was simply to have the border pass, the border, in order to reward Italy, because they were not ready to reward Italy for, in a way, that reasonable salesmanship in 1915. On the other side of the Adriatic zone, Austria, which was a defeated power, it was possible, but it was highly much and very much and absolutely against the principles of America. And I think America had significantly bad conscience later, and they helped then to regulate this issue in the 1960s and 70s. In the Austrian, Italian, South Tyrolean mythology, it's always Bruno Kreisky which is talking about it, and it's I will show you now at the main square. But this is not exactly the situation. You know, of course it was America who was supporting this settlement, and of course that was very helpful that Italy was American, first liberated, then occupied, then turned into ally, and of course very much allied in the Cold War with America. And of course America tried to bring decency back to Italy, which obviously was a big task, and it is probably still, but I don't want to be the Austrian arrogant guy who is, because I'm here to apologize that we, the Austrians, have not done the move into NATO up to now, and this is something we should do. And we should also, by the way, because it's a bit, they recognize the Holodomor and Ukrainian, the Russian genocide against the Ukrainian farmers, and several other things which we don't do because we have this unsettled relation with Russia. And when you see, for example, Mrs. Meloni, she is now very decent in whole policy towards Russia, Ukraine, and all her European policy is quite interesting. I mean, she is a bit upset about the French franc in Western Africa, and I am not the expert for Italian policy, let it be, but I appeal to her again and again. Don't let the Austrian neutrality stand. Insist on Austrian NATO membership as part of the update of the autonomy status, which is also necessary. Certainly such things have to be updated and have to be from time to time put into perspective, and that's now the time, obviously, and it's very much necessary. So I'm here at the main square of Bolzano. I show you some of this amazing landscape and this great city. It's very beautiful. I will walk now to the main government square, and then later I will see if there's massive interest in my little press event here, while I will call for Italy to support Austrian NATO membership and also for Tirol to be united in a way. And I always want to clarify this. I'm not for unity of Tirol in the sense that there is any change of the inner EU borders, but I'm for unity that is the maximum we can do after the past injustice cannot be corrected by new injustice. Because when I go here for Bolzano, I hear a lot of Italian, so you cannot, and this is the same true in all Eastern European conflicts, you cannot undo past injustice with new injustice. Population exchange, ethnic kind of cleansing, and all this imposition of new rules by force on a population which has changed is not good. Yeah? So in all cases what we have in Eastern Europe, and I repeat, there's the whole list of Transnistria and Nagorno-Karabakh and Crimea and Donbass, and they are all very different. I understand North Cyprus and Kosovo North and Preševo and Sanjak and Vojvodina, there's many. And maybe I have listed Gagauzia, yes, no new injustice. What we can do is NATO membership for the main country, like Italy, like Ukraine, like Austria, all in NATO, in the same defense alliance. Then a lot of things are already aligned. In the same European Union, from Ukraine, Cyprus is already, but also then all the other countries into the European Union. That is very meaningful, and that's what we need to do. And then obviously in the same euro, because that is also then the economic integration and the overcoming of borders. In the same Schengen, let's not forget that one, because the Austrians have so misbehaved now the last days, and it was completely outrageous, but luckily our Deputy Chancellor has intervened and has made it very clear that Romania and Bulgarian rejection is not the government line. Mr. Kana, our Minister of Interior, is not the absolute king of the Austrian decision making, luckily. So also in Schengen, and then obviously to have regional minority status, and that's exactly what we need to do, and that's exactly how to settle all the conflicts. That's why I call for Ukraine, Georgia, Moldova and the Western Balkans, all in NATO, all in the EU, all in Schengen, all in the Euro, and all where it's necessary a regional autonomy status, like here in Southern Tyrol. That's a very big offer. They will not get. And by the way, Southern Tyrol has not a veto about Italian foreign policy. Hello Donbass, hello Crimea, and hello whatever the others. Yeah, this and like Bosnia and Republika Srpska. Let's not forget. You know, it has not a veto on NATO membership. Never had. Yeah? But they have, of course, a regional. You know, the languages and the education system, the hospitality, the public employment, and all these things. Yeah? I will explain in a moment. Yeah, that's the logic of it. I'll show you a little bit of the city. I'm just here for this morning, but I want you to see this beautiful ancient city. It's a Mediterranean form of Tyrol. It's a lot of Italian here. It's beautiful. I love it, and I will show you all, not all of it that I cannot. I have just now the main square to do, and then I will sit, because it's a bit cold, and podcasting in the winter, as you know, I'm a bit skeptical, because I normally get all this a cold for too much podcasting in the winter, as you know from last Sarajevo visit. Good, thanks a lot for watching. More to come from Pax Europiana here from Southern Tyrol, and please watch that very much. This is a very good example for regional autonomy, overcoming the past divisions by good governance inside NATO, EU, the Euro, Schengen, and based on European role models for integration of regional minority issues into the European project. Big success, very good, more to come. Austria joined NATO, because on this one now we are to blame, because we have not completed our task to join the West. Thanks a lot, all the best. Bye from Bolzano.